Welcome to the presentation of AcroWord tool. AcroWord is just a prototype for that is coming from a studies that is joined with Professoressa Rita Maria Bucciarelli, and with this kind of prototype we will just make an example of studies where we want to link together the word of corpus linguistico, where are defined a set of acronyms seen like dictionaries, and the media objects that can be shown via a lot of different applications, for instance tablet, smartphone, and so on. So we starting just to introduce what is about the prototype AcroWord. So AcroWord is seen like in applications, so in apps that can be distributed on the different media, and which is the solutions. The solution about the AcroWord is based on acronyms. The acronimo is the object. This is the fundamentals related the solution. So the acronym is first of all coded. So we have that a sentence or a word, a phrase can be coded by a small set of characters. And with this small set of characters, we can have a representation of a sentence or phrase or something else. Anyway, these kind of things must be, first of all, unambiguous. So this means that for each code exists only one and unique representation of this acronym. So this is very clear, because we cannot have different meanings when we indicate a unique acronym. So in the corpus linguistico, when we have the possibility to write a short code like representation of the word or a phrase, this code is unique. And the acronyms are listed in a dictionary. So we have a set of acronyms that could be based also on a different kind of representation. We can imagine, for instance, acronyms that are for the medicine, or we have a set of acronyms that can be for science, or other sets for informatics, and so on. So we can imagine that we have a possibility to specialize the acronyms for a kind of typology or of application. So after that, we can understand that the acronym is a condensation. So the condensation means that from a small acronym, so a small set of characters, we have the condensation. So we have a representation of a big word, big phrase, and the condensation, how we can imagine, is language dependent, because when we have a representation of the phrase, of the word or a word, this is language dependent because the phrase, the word, is exactly written in the language that we want. But we have also the possibility to link to the acronym an image. The image, it could be both language dependent or language independent, or also language dependent. So this is obviously clear, because an image can be without any kind of writing inside, and so in that case is a language independent, because we have no phrase or word inside. In the case instead we have also such kind of phrase, word written inside the image, in that case it becomes language dependent. you can image such kind of image that have a signal, and the signal can be inside it will be write such kind of word to indicate the kind of signal. So in that case we can understand that the image is not only language independent. Also, we have the possibility to connect to the acronym a video, and the video also here we have the dependence between the video and the language, because if the video is only mimics, so means without words, no speaking, in that case the video is language independent. Instead, if in the video there are phrase, word or speaking part, in that case we have the depending from the language. And at the end we have also the possibility to link to the acronym the speaking. So means that we have the possibility to have the acronym, that is the representation of such kind of phrase or word, to be also speaking. In that case the speaking, we know, is language dependent. Why we have this kind of different indications, why we have this kind of representation? The AcroWord is started to thinking about the world of a person that have such kind of handicap, so that have such kind of problems, or in the auditive area or in the visual area. So you can imagine people that have such kind of problem in the auditive, so maybe for instance deaf, or they have such kind of problem in the visual area, so maybe they are blind. In that case you can imagine why we speak about the language dependent and independent. Is very clear if you have for instance persons that have such kind of problem in the visual, and so they base their perceptions only and exclusively on the language, so on speaking. In that case they needed to have the correct translation in their languages. In auditive instead, you can imagine that where people that have the possibility to observe, to see, but not to hear. In that case we have that image could be enough to represent a phrase that is written by acronym. Same for video. So they have the possibility to observe images or videos, or also to read, in that case in the condensation, so to read the written phrase or word that is the representation of the acronym. So we have concentrated about these people that have such kind of troubling related the world of auditive or visual, and we want just to explain more better which kind of is based our application. So to do that I want to introduce a small presentation. So generally we have to think to the application like a tool, just like advice about such kind of troubling or such kind of problem that the person that have a handicap in the visual or in the audible area, and so we won't just try to help them in that case. There is a small story where a person was found on the freeway. It was in the emergency place, and was with the car stopped, and nobody understand what he needed about and why he was stopped in the emergency area on the freeway. They call also the emergency health, because they imagine that the person that was in the car have such kind of a problem in the health, and the person was not able to speak and to just become understandable why he was stopped in that area. After a long period, and when it was coming also the emergency health, finally they understand that the problem was that the car have finished the fuel. So was no petrol in the car, and for that reason the person was stopped in the emergency area. So you can imagine that in such condition, for people that have some troubling in the communication, that have problem in the speaking, or in the also to observe, to see how is possible to help them, just to provide a tool, instruments that can be fast and very important during such kind of phases related to the troubleshooting. So we imagine this kind of applications like used in the emergency cases. So we have AcroWord that like prototype can be used, so just like tool in which we can possible to write, or tool impossible is used for speaking, so we can activate the functionality of the tool in two methods. Today we have only the speaking, today we have only the writing part that is possible to activate. In the future we want to activate also the possibility to use the speaking, so to use the voice to activate AcroWord tool. The scope is to produce a sentence, to produce video, or to reproduce image, because with this kind of three area we can cover the problem related the handicap or video, or the visual, or the problem related the blind or deaf people. So just to, I suppose that's very clear that sentence means that we are able to from acronym, from writing acronym we reproduce a big sentence. So this is a very fast method to write phrase, sentence from short usage of acronym. It's possible also to activate a video that is the representation of the sentence, or also an image that is exactly also the representation of the phrase or sentence that we have write in AcroWord. So at the end we want just give just to close this kind of presentation, we want to introduce also the prototype of AcroWord. AcroWord is presented just in this moment like a small window where it's possible to write acronyms or also phrases directly. So it's possible to write our you, for instance. So in that case we use exactly like normal typing, but during the timing we can also use a special sentence. For instance, I need benzene, but how you can see in this moment we stay in Italian. So for instance we can use Deutsch, but I need is not Deutsch, or English. In that case the acronym is immediately translate in the correct word that is the language dependent. The same happen also for the, in that case we have introduced also attached such kind of media object is a MP4, so this is a video. We have the possibility, okay, here is only, I repeat you, a prototype. We have the possibility to run on a LED wall or such kind of other media objects, because we have to thinking not only for usage in a smartphone or in a tablet, but we can think the usage also in industrial area, where there are people that have such kind of problems to communicate also in the with the people inside, the personnel inside the factories, for instance. So in that case, we can see that we can connect the acronym with directly with a word. In that case, not a sentence, but it's a word, just to have a small representation of this word. And in the meantime, we can represent the petrol word with a video that I can open, and as you can see, it shows us here, I repeat again the screening, it shows us exactly the word petrol in the Italian language thing. This can be changed. This video can become also language dependent. So for instance, this could be also attached in case of English with a different, for each language we can have a different kind of video where the word petrol in English will be represented in the language of signs in English, instead that in that case we have in Italian. So I close this kind of presentation, and I stop here our talk. Thank you very much for everybody.